As the unknown planet bursts into the Yarator system within the Galerias sector, the Galerias Templar Crusade has chased the 33rd warhost to this location, and witnessing a small force go down to the surface has decided to stop and investigate what the Vulture is up to. As the Templars enter the space of the unknown planet, they notice that there is a definite congregation of a small force of the 83rd warhosts within the centre of the planet. Seeing that they're obviously going towards something and needing it quite desperately, having pulled aside part of their force to go and investigate, the Templars are now closing in on the location where this objective is.
This is Tom from BlackToad Studio, and this is my force I'm bringing today. It's 500 points of Chaos Space Marines. We have got a spear tip formation with Chaos Lord in the centre, the Vulture, Chaos Lord with a jetpack, a plasma pistol, and the cursed Crozius relic. We've got 2 squads of Raptors. Both have 2 melter guns, and the champions have plasma pistols. And we've got a squad of 5 warp talons there. So that's my 500 points. Let's have a look to see what Tom is bringing.
And here is my 500 points of Black Templars for this 500 point mission. We have a patrol detachment in front of you, led by an Emperor's Champion here. And joining him, I should say, is a Crusader squad of 15 men strong, 5 neophytes and 10 initiates. No sergeants in there, no upgrades, just good old chainsaws and bolt pistols. And then we have 2 land speeders, as the element of speed is required for this force. Both armed the same with an assault cannon and multi-melter. We'll now head on into the deployment. So as the engagement rapidly approaches here, the Templar force is slightly confused, not knowing why, but something definitely going on in outside of real space at the moment has caused them to come on in different directions and get slightly split up. Not too much, but not enough to really confuse them. And as you see here in the middle of the board, the Chaos forces have landed perfectly. Obviously something a little bit warp-esque going on here, as the Raptors have taken the centre with the Vulture. So at the moment, the Templars are actually going to be commencing the battle unless the Chaos forces seize the initiative, which they do not. So we'll be back in a second with Black Templars, turn 1. So just before the battle starts, as you can see here, there is a blue crate which is on this unknown planet, and this is what the Wordbearers 83rd Warhosts have come to collect. No one knows what's inside it, but it's very crucial considering the Vulture himself has come down with his Raptor squads to collect it. Will the Templars actually find out what's inside of it? We'll find out shortly. So the Templars finished their movement in turn 1. Down here, the Emperor's Champion has advanced forward to try and get in range of his Crusader squad that has come down with him, and the Crusaders have moved towards him just to try and protect each other a bit, because not knowing what might turn up on this planet, it could just be more than the Wordbearers here, you never know. And the 2 land speeders have taken up flanking positions ready to unleash the assault cannons in the direction of the Raptors. Let's see what happens in the shooting phase. So as the din from the assault cannons dies down, only 1 Wordbearer Raptor was killed in this squad. They can't fair leadership, obviously, so there won't be any testing there. So that's the end of the Templars turn 1. Now it's time for the Wordbearers to hit back.
Right, turn 1 movement for the Wordbearers, and on both flanks, both Raptor squads have seen the threat of the land speeders. They need to isolate these before they take the larger target here. So the squad here has jumped up with the Vulture backing them up onto this flank, and over here as well. The squad have moved up here. So potentially this could be a horrible ambush in the middle, but we will see. Let's move on to turn 1 shooting for the Wordbearers. End of turn 1 shooting for the Wordbearers. So over on this flank here, both melter guns opened up at being such short range, ripped apart the land speeder, seeing it flying it into the sand. Across on the other flank, however, the plasma pistols, the two melter guns and the bolt pistols open fire on this land speeder, taking off 5 wounds, leaving it on just the 1, so he's still quite a threat. And now the Raptors are out in the open. They're easy pickings. So let's move on to turn 2 for the Black Templars.
So as the Templars take their movement in the second turn, they refocus their efforts on this bottom squad of Raptors. With the upper land speeder destroyed, they've had to try and protect the one on this side of the battlefield because it's their only real bit of major firepower. So the Crusader squad comes charging forward, ready to unleash a charge, with the Emperor's Champion sprinting to keep up, so not able to get into combat this turn, but definitely trying to keep up with his Crusader squad and their ferocity as they head towards their hated enemy of the 83rd. So now we'll move on into the shooting phase. So the Templars opened up on this bottom Raptor squad and managing to take out 3 of them. So they're down to 2, so the Crusader squad are now lining up their charge. Let's see how they do in the combat phase. So the Templar forces smash through the remaining Raptors there, heading towards the objective in the centre of the board here. However, obviously over here the Vulture is still waiting to turn around and pay his respects to the Crusaders over here. Probably won't be too pretty for them, but the Emperor's Champion, a little bit alone right now. He might be a little bit nervous, but I doubt it as he is a Space Marine. So we'll now head on into turn 2 for the Word Bearers.
Turn 2 movement for the 83rd Warhost. So over here, the squad of Warp Talons has deep struck in, preparing to sandwich the Templars between themselves and the Raptors and the Vulture there. So their main target this turn is going to be this main Crusader squad, to destroy or do as much damage as they possibly can, and then move on to the other 2 targets. But of course the main prize is still to keep control of the container and what lies within. So let's move on to turn 2 shooting. Turn 2 shooting for the Word Bearers. So over here the Raptor squad and the Vulture fired in. The Vulture unable to do anything, but the Raptors firing in killed 3 of the Templars. So it's now time to launch the assault and to take out these Imperial fools. Turn 2 assault for the Word Bearers. So down here in the centre, the battle continues. These squads are able to get in, the Raptors and the Vulture. Unfortunately, the Warp Talons, even with a command reroll, were not able to get into combat with the Templars. Templars fought back. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do anything in return, but they did lose several of their number. I think they lost 5 of their number in assault, so they've taken a big hammering. Unfortunately for the Word Bearers, the Emperor's Champion is getting very close, and he is renowned for their expertise in combat. So let's move on to turn 3 for the Black Templars.
As the combat clangs around in the middle of the board here, the Emperor's Champion has started to move towards the melee, judging which way he's going to enter the combat. And over here, this land speed has decided to stay still, and he's going to try and protect them from this impending attack here from the Warp Talons. So let's see what happens in the shooting phase. So the bolt pistols and other weapons start to fire in all round in general chaos as the battle intensifies. And down here, the land speeder fired its assault cannon at the squad over here, taking out 2 Warp Talons. That was good day shooting there. And in the middle down here, all the bolt pistols fired in at their nearest units, but didn't manage to do anything. Some terrible wounding going on. So now, can the Emperor's Champion step up and take the hurt to the enemy? So the Emperor's Champion barrels into the combat and has struck down 4 of the raptors, really successful with his combat strikes there, and he's now eyeing up the vulture. However, the remaining Crusader squad swarmed around the vulture first and has done no damage to him. However, he did 2 wounds back to us. They have passed their morale, so they're not going anywhere and they haven't lost anyone. However, in the background, the warp talons are looming, so we've got to see if they can now weather another swarm of attacks coming in from the claws. So as we move on into turn 3 for the word bearers.
Right, turn 3 movement for the word bearers. So at the command of the vulture here, the warp talons jumped forwards, leaving the vulture a chance to fall back towards the container. The container is very important and must be protected. Also, the vulture doesn't really want to fall against the Emperor's champion. So he's pulled back for now. The warp talons are stepping up, hopefully to deal with these Crusaders. We will see. So let's move on to turn 3, assault for the word bearers. At the end of turn 3 assault, the warp talons charged in, unable to do anything against the Crusaders. The Crusaders, with their holy zeal, struck down the warp talons and now pursuing the vulture towards the objective. It's a good day to be a Templar. Let's move on to turn 4 for the Templars.
So as the Templars push the advantage, heading towards the vulture, everything has got its weapons trained towards him, and they're going to start piling some shots in his general direction, hopefully take them out. So as we move on into the combat phase of turn 4 for the Templars. So as all the shots fire into the vulture, he is now down to 1 wound. So they're going to have to go into close combat to try and finish him off. So let's move on into the combat phase. So at the end of the combat phase, the Templars rushed in to land the killing blow on the vulture. However, as they turned to the crate, he'd just gone round the back of it and he'd gone, looking like some form of warp disturbance had taken him off-world, possibly to one of his nearby ships here who was waiting with a return locator. Sadly, that means they couldn't get him now, possibly ending this entire campaign against them, taking the head off the snake, so to speak. So the Templars now have acquired an artifact. They don't truly know what it is. As the battle finishes on this unknown planet in the Yarator system, the Templars have collected a relic from inside the crate. They're not quite sure of its purpose yet, but what they are 100% sure are there are more of them, because this looks like the piece of something larger. And it is definitely what the word bearers are hunting in this region. So as they collect this and take it back to their fleet in orbit, feeling a little uneasy over it because it doesn't feel quite right, but not being able to leave it for the word bearers to thieve again, they've had to take it back and have it on their ship. So what is happening and what is going on in this system, we'll soon find out as mission 2 draws nearer.